Back to campaign 2014, more than 70% of Wisconsinites have no idea about the two lawyers who want the job as the state's next top cop. So says a Marquette University poll.
As we count down to our Attorney General's debate tomorrow night, we're introducing you to the candidates. Just released campaign finance report show over the last 3 months. The Democratic candidate, Jefferson County DA Susan Happ, raised more money than Republican Brad Schimmel. We profiled Schimmel last night, who says his top priority would be fighting Wisconsin's heroin epidemic. Tonight, our campaign 2014 profile continues. Here's News 3's Matthew Simon with Susan Happ.
Which candidate for Attorney General has put murderers behind bars?
Susan Happ freely admits you do not often see someone like her on a Harley.
District Attorney Susan Happ.
But talking to us at the Jefferson Coffee Shop just 3 doors down from where she spent the better part of a decade practicing private law.
I'm a fighter. I'm tenacious. I don't fit the mold for a lot of things.
The Jefferson-born and raised daughter of 2 teachers says her Harley's an example of how she's never afraid to take on a new challenge. Her opponent says, I'm going to defend the law no matter what. You say the constitutionality comes into play. Explain this difference to me.
You've got to have the independence and the courage to make those tough decisions when a law blatantly violates the Constitution.
Those include Wisconsin's just overturned same-sex marriage ban, voters having to show an ID to vote,
With Act 37, which relates to admitting privileges,
and the Wisconsin abortion law currently held up in an appeal. Supporters say requiring abortion doctors to have admitting privileges at a hospital within 30 miles of where an abortion is performed is needed for the woman's safety.
where, the proponents of these admitting privileges have failed to articulate any rational basis, any medical reason for why they have singled out a single medical procedure.
As the state's top lawyer, Happ does not just have one top priority, rather a checklist she calls justice for all. A list including internet crimes against children, a dedicated assistant attorney general to act as a law enforcement liaison, universal background checks when purchasing a gun, also consumer and environmental protections, and like her opponent's top priority, combating Wisconsin's heroin epidemic. You and Mr. Schimmel both call your plans comprehensive, and you read his is comprehensive, yours is too. What differentiates the plans?
Every county, if they want to do it, be able to put on one of those heroin summits, and DOJ can provide, assistive services and helping folks figure out how to do that.
Jefferson County's first Democratic DA since 1938. Happ says her work since being elected in 2008 proves she knows how to work with all backgrounds. But both the Republican Party and her opponent
Happ finished pocketing $180,000 in a land deal with the molester.
have been hammering Happ for a land deal with a sex offender.
Susan Happ profits from them.
Did you sell your house to a sex offender? How did this work?
In 2009, my husband did sell his house to Dan Reynolds on a land contract. There were no allegations of any sort of, sex offenses at that time. And then there was a report to law enforcement. Ultimately, a referral did come into our office, and I looked at it, recognized the name.
Happ says she recused herself from the case while her office continued to handle it. But in a complaint, the victim said Happ's signature on the case's paperwork proves she was in on the eventual plea deal. But the Office of Lawyer Regulation dismissed the case, saying Happ was timely screened from the case. Her signature was computer generated, and she did not personally review or sign the document.
Initially, I didn't respond to the allegations for 2 primary reasons. One, because I knew that my actions had been appropriate, that I had done what the ethical rules required me to do, which is screen off, have no involvement.
When it comes to protecting Wisconsin women,
Women specifically are who Susan Happ's ad targets.
to prevent companies from paying women less than men.
But she says justice for all Wisconsinites will be her true priority if elected Attorney General.
Having people understand that, I'm going to fight for them, I'm going to fight for our rights, and I'm going to be truly the people's lawyer.
Happ and Schimmel will face off tomorrow night. The debate is sponsored by WISC TV3, the State Bar of Wisconsin, and WisPolitics.com. You can watch it live on channel3000.com. If you have any questions, send them to us at tips@channel3000.com. We profiled Brad Schimmel last night. Just check out my Twitter feed. You can get a web address to check that out too.
All right, we're looking forward to a great debate tomorrow night. Matthew, thank you very much.